Hey, yo, you ready, Keys?
Let's get it.
Get on your feet, Tiger fans. Let's get loud. Let's go. Let's get active. Let's go.
Yo. It's your boy, Be Easy.
It's your boy V Keys. This is the Uplayedtho Podcast.
Keys, man, we had a great weekend, despite everything that was going on around the country on the East Coast, down there in Death Valley, as promised. Prayers out to everybody who's dealing with loss or just a hard time. Praying for you guys, but we really got to step in and engage with the fans this time, man.
Yeah, man, we had an epic weekend, great weekend in Death Valley. And like I said, first and foremost, it was a little subdued due to the storm, the Hurricane Helene. The area got impacted. Georgia, Florida, Carolinas. Thoughts and prayers to everyone affected by that. And Clemson had a lot of power outages. There were some calls, some early calls. Why didn't they postpone and cancel the game? But I guess they made their statement and decided to go on with it. And maybe Stanford got here maybe Friday or so. But yeah, so big shout out to everybody in the upstate, and shout out to them Tigers. It was homecoming. We had a great experience. Despite the circumstances.
Yep, got a lot of footage that we're gonna drop throughout this episode. Like he said, despite the circumstances, I know a lot of people are saying, hey, why did they go ahead and play the game? But we drove through Clemson and saw the power outages, the restaurants that were shut down, and things like that. And I feel like it really kind of brought the community together, right?
Yeah, and that's the thing about especially a town like Clemson, and not just Clemson, like your Alabamas, your Athens, Georgia. These college towns, like that's what people live for there, man. Like in the surrounding community, so they go to the games to kind of get away, escape, or what have you from whatever they're going through, and it was still a packed house in Death Valley. I'm sure, a lot of people probably couldn't make it, but those who made it wanted to be there. Yep. They wanted to see their Tigers play. So,
yeah. So shout out to the Tigers, man. We'll get into it, but I just wanted to touch on some of the games that were going on while we were out there tailgating with the fans. Friday, it was a very, very controversial call in the Miami-Virginia Tech game, down to the final play.
Man, Miami got bailed out by the league again. And I say again, if y'all remember the lateral six against Duke several years ago, one of the same referees from that Duke game was in this Virginia Tech Miami game, and at the end of the game, poor clock management, number one, by Virginia Tech's coach. Horrible clock management, but nonetheless, they had a shot.
They had opportunity.
A poor man's Hail Mary. They was at the 30 or something, so threw it up. My man came down with it. There was a little scramble for the ball. Miami player came out with it, so the fans think it's over with. The fans rushing the field, but now I saw they didn't make a play. They didn't make a call yet, so I'm like, they gonna call this a touchdown because the refs ain't said nothing. So they let the commotion. They said game no, and they said rule on the field's a touchdown.
Yeah.
Go back and look at the footage. I mean, there really wasn't. It wasn't enough. Like, if you're gonna call it a touchdown, it really wasn't enough to overturn it, in my opinion. Just because y'all stood on the touchdown, and the Miami player was out of bounds when he touched the ball, so he's not even involved in the play if you're out of bounds.
Yeah.
So.
And we talked about this. When you cross the goal line, it's a touchdown instantly, right? Regardless if you fumble after that. If you cross the nose of football crosses the goal line, it's a touchdown. So if you catch the ball in bounds and then fumble, it's not a catch fumble. To me, it should be a touchdown. Same kind of rules apply. But nonetheless, ACC called down there in Charlotte and said we can't let this go down. And Miami squeaks by with a win. So congrats.
Yeah.
Hopefully we'll see y'all in Charlotte.
Yeah, I mean, the defense was looking suspect. They played a cupcake schedule, and they finally get a conference opponent, Virginia Tech, which they haven't been good this year either. So to come in, and they was down 10 in the fourth quarter, But, I mean, Cam had another couple quote-unquote Heisman moments, if you will. So, they got the dub, and they'll move on to, I'm not sure who they play next, but.
Yeah. All right, another one that we saw in real time, Keys, while we were out there tailgating was the Kentucky and the Ole Miss game. And Kentucky, they've been playing some teams close, like Georgia. They got washed by South Carolina, but they came into this game playing the number 6 team. And Lane Kiffin, he got some answers. He got some questions to answer.
Yeah, number 6, Ole Miss goes down at home to Kentucky. So that's 2 weeks in a row. Well, excluding the bye week, that Kentucky almost had the massive upset on then number 1 Georgia, but they actually pulled one off this time in Ole Miss.
Yep. All right, another game that we were really hoping for, another ACC win, was the Louisville versus Notre Dame game. It was, I want to say it started to get close there at the end, but number 16 Notre Dame ended up beating number 15 Louisville, so they took their first loss of the season, non-conference. So,
tight game, 31-24. But Louisville will still probably be one of our strongest opponents that we'll play this year. So we'll see how that shakes up in a couple weeks.
Yep. All right, so we'll touch on this really quick. Colorado, they ended up getting the win against UCF, and they were not favored in the game. Travis Hunter, he had another quality performance. He almost had 6 games in a row of plus 100 yards, but they had the game secured, so Prime brought it off, man. How do you feel about his Heisman hopes?
They didn't let him get the streak, but Heisman is, we all know it's a quarterback award, but it rarely ever goes to who's just the best player. Like, they always give it to a quarterback who has the best stats, and they was like, yeah, Carson Beck, he in that race. Like, he's not really spectacular, though. He's not. So, Travis Hunter is spectacular. I mean, I said it last episode. He has his own touchdown to interception ratio. He had it again. Had a pick and a touch. But yeah, man, he's the best pure athlete. We said it again.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember. Was Devonta Smith? Was he the last non-quarterback to win?
Probably so.
Receiver?
And that wasn't too long ago. That was 2020, right?
So we'll see. It's going to be hard for a DB, man. You don't really see that in college football. You get your running backs, your quarterbacks, your receivers. It's hard for defense to get that one. But
I don't care what their record is. He need to be invited to New York regardless. I don't care what their record is.
Yeah.
Just at least let him go to New York.
Yeah. All right, so really quick, Keys, let's touch on this game. After the Clemson game, we were able to watch. We were chopping it up with some of the fans, and we were able to watch the end of the Georgia game. During our game, Alabama looked like they had it in hand, so really didn't look at it. And the first thing I heard was, "Hey, Georgia's up." I couldn't believe it.
Man, this was the game of the week, game day. Georgia, Bama, at Bama. So we was at our game. We was at the Clemson game, so we weren't able to watch it. But like I said, we kept the eye on the score. We see 28-0. It was 30-7. I mean, it was looking nasty. I'm like, wow. And then after the game, we in there chopping it up with some of the family and all that. And man, somebody was like, "Yo, Georgia's up." We was like, huh? "No."
Yeah.
We're like, what?
No way.
Hey. So it was like 34 to what was it, 34 to 31 or something? I don't know, but Georgia had went up. We was like, there's no way. So we got to watch the last couple of minutes, man, and I tell you what, Bama's freshman receiver, Ryan Williams, stud.
Yeah. I think it was 34-33. They were up a point, I believe. But
boy's a pure stud, man.
And these players these days have the score mentality, right? They catch that ball, let's go for the win, right? We're not worried about just getting down, get out of bounds, and getting a field goal, man. Let's get in this end zone. But, yeah, some great games this weekend. Hopefully we'll see the same thing next weekend. But it was a great weekend for college football.
Yeah, it was, man. So we'll see what week 5 or we'll be on week 6. So we had the early bye week. So we'll see what week 6 has in store for us next week.
Yep. All right, Tiger fans, man, it's time for us to talk about the homecoming game against Stanford. Me and Keys were out there. That's coming up next.
Yeah.
So, Keys, we were able to make it down there to Death Valley as promised. Got out there to touch some of the fans, talk to them. get some score predictions, talk about how they feel about the season. Got to talk to some of the family. Got to talk to Taj.
Hey, Uplayedtho Podcast, man. I don't know if you've seen this. We interviewed Woody.
I gotta get on.
We
gotta make it shake.
We gotta get the V Keys.
Yeah.
That's my boy Be Easy. So yeah, Uplayedtho ESPN Charlotte here with Taj. How you feel about the game tonight, man?
It's good. It's a good victory.
Yes, sir.
Victory for the boys. I mean, anytime you get a chance to face some adversity, get your back against the wall, respond. That's what you're looking for. You know what I mean?
Yeah. We got some good players at the cage tonight. Good decision making.
And I mean, obviously there were some guys who were counting on to make some plays. They went out and made it. Obviously, you see the confidence building from week to week.
Yeah.
I mean, you just keep building from there.
And there's still some coaching. There was some like the West Coast play. That's 6.
So that one, the next one, the touchdown he had. I mean, he had a dead body out there, elite release. You know what I mean? So you're starting to see what he can do. He's getting confident in what he can do. And he's just who we've always thought he's been. You know what I mean?
Facts.
So it's real,
Yes, sir.
Bro.
And we gotta get you on the pod, bro. You with it? You with it?
Yeah, hold my word to it.
All right, I got you, man. Appreciate you, dog. Yes, sir, man.
Taj, we're gonna get you on the podcast, man.
Yes, sir.
We're gonna work out and get those details to you, man. But man, let's just talk about the vibe and how you felt, man, just being out there in the Valley again, man. It feels like it's been a while.
Yeah, last time we was there was Florida State game last year, and that didn't end up so well. Overtime loss. But yeah, it was good to be back. Night game in the Valley. We got off to a slow start, relatively slow compared to our last 2 games. What was 10-0 first quarter.
Yeah.
The defense. It was a lot of bending. We did get some turnovers deep in Stanford territory a couple times. Avion had a pick. Jaden Lucas had a great pick. The boy is an athlete out there in the secondary. But our defense was giving up over 250 rushing yards, man. We was getting ran on, and that wasn't the prettiest sight to see. And we have some shoring up to do.
Yep.
Once we go through this conference schedule. But offensively, like I said, we got off to a slow start. We kind of picked it up a little bit more later in the second half, which is cool, And Cade Cade did his thing, 5 touchdowns.
Yeah. I like that. I like the consistency that we're seeing from Cade. He's taking some chances. I see he's still working on that connection with Wesco. But definitely like the explosiveness on offense. From a defensive perspective, we definitely got to shore up the run. Peter Woods was hurt. Well, I'm not sure really what his status is, but they're probably holding him out for later conference games. But definitely like to see Avion. He's really starting to turn into that ball hawk, right? So I really like to see that from a defensive standpoint in that secondary, as teams are starting to take chances. But just overall, I feel like we played a quality game. You definitely don't want to give up that many points to a conference opponent like Stanford. But, I mean, at the end of the day, we left that game and relatively healthy. So,
Yeah. And speaking of health, I did get a chance to talk to defensive line coach Nick Eason briefly and asked him about the status of Peter Woods for the Florida State game.
Hey, Uplayedtho Podcast with ESPN Charlotte. You want to tell us how you feel about the game real quick? How you feel, dog?
And I feel good, man.
How you felt the D-line played tonight, man?
I think the D-line did a great job. Just got some things we need to improve on, but, man, I'm really proud of the guys, the way they came out, especially out in the second half.
Okay, so we can get Peter back next week?
I can't answer that question.
Okay.
But you're always hopeful.
No doubt.
Always hopeful.
All right, so that was Nick Eason, man. It's great to chop it up with him, man. It's always love, Clemson Family, man. So
Yeah.
Appreciate you, Nick, man.
Yeah, we appreciate that, man. The former players coming back to coach, him, Tides, Bullware. Well, we still got Spill over there on the sideline, you know what I mean? So didn't get the chance to see him. Like I said, it was great getting to top it up with Tides, boy. Like I said, hopefully we get him on.
Yep.
We got his word. We got your word, Tides. Come on now, we need you, bro. But yeah, and then we actually did get a chance to chop it up real quick with Peter Woods after the game. Just briefly. We saw him. We didn't go into no detail with him. We just, hey, what's up, man?
Yeah.
We got to get you back out there, big dog.
Yeah. After the games, emotions are high and whatnot, and it was a later game, so everybody's kind of tired and kind of exhausted from the nostalgia from the game. So just dapped it up with him, man. Told him, man, get well soon, man. We'll see you back out there.
Yeah. And again, so our final was 40-14. I think Moff only had 10 carries. And again, Cade with 4. He did have a pick, a fairly bad interception that could have led to a score for us. It was down. We was in the red zone.
Mm-hmm.
And he threw a pick, kind of oversight his receiver. So that's his first pick since the Georgia game, first turnover. So
Yep.
I can live with that ratio so far. That's 16 touchdowns in the last 3 games and 1 turnover. I think I'm good with that ratio.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
Long as we're getting them out now and sometimes you got to put your defense in certain situations so you know how to react later on, right? So, we'll see how it keeps going, man. Bryant Westco, 104, 1 touchdown.
And Westco has become the second true freshman since Deuce. The Deuce is loose, Sammy Watkins, in his first 4 games to have 100-yard games within his first 4 collegiate games. So Westco's on track to do some dangerous things if we talking Sammy Watkins territory.
Yeah. You can't wait to see it. Like we said, Ford had 122 yards rushing, so we gotta minimize that. We can't let the opposition get 100 yards rushing on this defensive line.
Well, not just 100. Like I said, they had as a team, they was over 250. They got some quarterback run and all that. And just one more shout out for Cade. He did become. This was his 4th game with 4 passing touchdowns and a rushing touchdown. Is that correct?
Yeah.
And only Ty's Boyd has done that 5, and Woody's done that twice. So, Cade, you in great company there.
Great company, and he continues, like what he said, he might be one of the fastest guys on the team, and he is putting those legs to work and making good decisions when it's time to do that. He knows when to stay in the pocket, right, and when to let's go ahead and pick up that first down. So definitely appreciate that continuous maturation game to game, getting better and better.
Yeah, the quarterback run is becoming a thing that he's leaning on, and not necessarily even leaning on. He's just seeing the hole and he hitting them like the 3rd and 10.
Yep.
That wasn't a design run. He's scrambling. And you know what? Okay, I got some. And shout out to the receivers blocking. We got some good blocks downfield. So that opened up the scoring for us with his long touchdown run early in the first quarter.
Mm-hmm.
And then defense. Like I said, we gave up some yards, but we did create 3 turnovers.
Yep.
So.
And it's good to see Cole Turner back healthy, man. Having him as a deep threat is definitely a great asset for us. So. Glad to see Cole out there getting those opportunities, man.
And then real quick, man, you did want to see some things out of Jake Brennan-Soul, didn't you?
Yeah.
He had a couple drops.
Yeah.
He had a couple drops, but he did have a touchdown. He atoned for it a little bit, but there was a couple of plays there like, all right, come on, Jake. You're supposed to be Mr. Dependable in the middle now.
Yeah, I don't know if it's like early nerves. It's homecoming, your family's out there, like
True.
people are traveling up, and it's the emotions of what's going on. Kind of in the city, so in the town. So, but we know Jake, man. He's he's like 1A, 1B option out here. So, but let's talk about this matchup, Keys, that we have this week. It's one of the Bowden Bowl.
Not no more.
Yeah.
Man, and what looked like it was going to be somewhat of a daunting task before the season has turned into. Man, are we going to be favored by 28?
Yeah.
I mean, what's going to be the spread? Because
I think they have it at 16 right now.
Yeah, let's check the spread on that because Florida State is coming off a terrible loss to SMU.
Absolute terrible. So this is like a 15. They're a 15-point dog.
And that feels like it's like dangerously low.
Yeah.
Right now.
For Florida State to come into the season as the favorite to win the ACC and go back to the college football playoffs, they are 1-3 in the conference and 1-4 overall.
Man, it ain't even no words no more. I think we said enough over the last couple of weeks. You're 1-4, and we just got some news today that DJ will not be playing.
Mm-hmm. Coincidentally, I don't know if he's hurt. I don't know what's going on there. I don't know if Mike Norvell has just seen enough and says we got to go into a different direction. But to win the ACC last year and to be performing like you are this year, they might be questioning his job and his situation, man. So
I mean, if you're I guess it's a difference between losing and how you're losing, and if you're not trying to make a change. So obviously, you know, when you're losing, what's the first thing people want to see? The backup quarterback.
Yeah.
He's the most popular guy in town. When the starter's struggling, which DJ has been struggling mightily.
Not only that, they got portal dollars that they got to go back and count up. So
Yeah, so we're down in Florida State. We're in Tallahassee next Saturday, prime time, 7:00. They need to move the game up. Let's go ahead and move it to 3:30, man. Don't let us wait. Just go ahead and move the game up.
I'll go ahead and say this, Keys. It's still Florida State. There's still a rivalry there. Maybe these players come out and play with that respect and play with that sense of urgency, as we are one of the toughest ACC opponents right now. A win against Clemson would mean worlds for Florida State.
I mean, it would mean worlds. It's not going to happen though.
Yeah, I mean, I'm expecting to see all players that are healthy and available to play in this game.
And I see where you're coming from. We'll still get their best shot. You know, they come off of, you know, nobody's really expecting anything from SMU, but to lose 42-16, you throw a pick six. I mean,
yeah, that's
unacceptable for a program that's supposedly the caliber of Florida State. So, knowing, you know, they beat us last year, and North Carolina State beat us last year. Look what we did to them. So, you know, our guys got that on their mind too. Like, all right, this is a team we lost to last year. Let's go in there and show them what we're capable of.
Yep, it is Tallahassee. So, you know, we'll see. But outside of that, man, next week I'm just gonna go ahead and mention this because they're our competition. But Ole Miss just took a loss. Now they playing South Carolina. I think South Carolina had a bye week this week. How do you feel? How do you feel about what's going to happen there? South Carolina have a chance?
No.
No?
They may play him tight, and I think Carolina fans are still, you know, oh man, we almost beat LSU. And I think they probably still riding out that high because they had a bye week. They didn't play last week, and I think the week before that they beat, who was it, like Alcorn State? I forgot who was, some no name team. But Ole Miss is coming in off a loss, so Lane Kiffin will be anxious. He'll be chomping at the bit to get back in it. So I think they go down there and get the dub. I mean, the Gamecocks, they make it interesting for a half. But I think Jackson Dart and Ole Miss will get it back on track. This week.
All right, Keith, so we got this game in Tallahassee. It's a home game for Florida State. Clemson's favored by 15. Let's talk about that score prediction, man. What you thinking?
We in Tallahassee. It may rain down there, so we're not sure. Early forecast said it could be a chance of rain. I want to see the ground game get some work, man. Because last game, Stanford game, homecoming, Maffa didn't do as expected on the ground. So I want to see Cade use the wheels again early. See if he could bust off another long touchdown run early, and get the ground game going. I want to run for. We need to run for 250 yards plus in this game.
250 yards.
Because Florida State's defensive line and their run defense has been porous. So I fully expect us to take advantage of that and run for 250 plus.
Okay.
And I'm gonna go. Like I said, there's no DJ this game. I'm not sure how their backup quarterback look, but if he hasn't played, there must be a reason. Because DJ he's been worthy of getting benched.
So what you're saying is that Tiger defense going to get at least 3 turnovers?
We'll get at least 2.
Okay.
We should be able to at least get 2 turnovers. We just got 3 coming off a 3-turnover game. If we can at least get 2 and our run game is going, I'm not concerned about them putting up points. They do have a good kicker, and that's about all they got. They will get their best shot. So I'm gonna go Tigers 52-10.
Man.
Clemson.
Hey, Keys, we just alike again this week. So I had it in my mind. Same thing. You made some great points. I think that we're going to air it out a little bit, but the defensive line for Florida State, they've been talking about them all season, or before the season. It's going to be one of the best in college football. They have been looking like bottom 10. But anyway, I think 10 points is fair. I think it's going to be 59-10, Clemson.
Okay, that sounds eerily similar to the 2018 game when Trevor Lawrence and the boys went down there, and we gave Florida State the worst home loss in their history. So you looking for a repeat of that?
I'm looking for a repeat of that, man. We got to get back from last year because we had that game won, and it just didn't work out for us. But I think it's time to get back. We got healthy receivers. Everybody's kind of been able to stretch their legs. A lot of players that have been nicked up have had time to rest. So we'll see if they make an appearance. I guess it depends on how the game is going, how much time that they're actually going to get. But definitely excited. This is one of those rivalries, man, that regardless of how either team is playing, you just had that passion. We want to make a statement with this game. So
yeah, I like what you're saying, and remember y'all can hit us on Uplayedtho. Look at the bottom of the screen for all the links here. Uplayedtho Podcast, Instagram, YouTube. That's where you can find us. We have a lot of dope content coming your way soon. We got a lot of great content and great information we got from the homecoming game, man. So I can't wait. So be easy to share that with y'all.
Yeah, definitely. We're gonna get that out as soon as possible. You'll see it this week. Did some great interviews, like Keith said. If you want to follow us individually, we're gonna put our Instagram and our TikTok down below. Don't forget also ESPN Charlotte, 7:30 a.m. The game. Check us out on there. We'll put that information here as well. And with that being said,
yeah, we out of here.
We out.